Hello, everybody. How you doing? What's happening today? Um, so I'm doing this little video today just to tell you a little story about something that happened to me 22 years ago. And I apologize. This is going to be a bit of a long video. I don't upload long videos very often, but I figured this is interesting enough that might keep you going, might keep you hanging in there. So I hope you guys hang in there, and you'll see what happens in the end. As it turns out, it's quite interesting. Let me just give a little sip here. Get yourself a cup of coffee or a drink or something. Ready? Try not to laugh and giggle too much during this video because this is more of a serious video, and this is not a beer review, obviously. So, anyways, where to begin? I was going to upload this. I had this in the back of my mind for a little while now. I wanted to upload this video, and it has to do with an experience I had in the fall of 2000, September, probably October. Don't know the exact date. I didn't write it down. I don't have a diary. So probably during the month of October, maybe the end of October, maybe even into November, maybe like 22 years ago, right around this time. I was working at the time I worked at a superstore in Halifax. There was Joseph House Superstore, and I was working on the night shift. 12 midnight or 11, either 11 to 7, 12 to 8, doesn't really matter. But anyways, one stormy evening, as I was laying down having an evening nap, I noticed it was pretty stormy, windy and rainy outside. I was having a nap just as I usually do most evenings. When I work night shift, I sleep sometime during the evening, before or after supper, or before I go to work at night, whatever, right? And anyways, I was awoken in my sleep as I was laying in my bed like this. I was on my back. I wasn't on my sides or anything. So I was on my back, and I awoke. I opened my eyes to find I was stuck in a sleep paralysis, as they call it, right? And just as a side note on the sleep paralysis thing, I know there's a lot of stuff going on. You can read a lot of stuff on the internet about that, and there's a lot of tests been done over that. Sure, okay, yeah, I've heard a lot of it. I've read a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it. And they say that they seem to think that, or they seem to say that you can see things that aren't there in your sleep paralysis. But I am going to tell you, just as a side note for the rest of this story, that I've had many, many sleep paralysis in my life. I've tried to go to sleep and haven't gone fully to sleep, and found myself stuck in one. I've woken up in them, and I've probably had, even though I didn't keep count over the years, I probably had 60, 70, maybe 80 of them, 80 experiences, maybe, like quite a few. Several dozen, anyways, over 25 years or so, I don't know. And this one particular night, I seen something in my sleep paralysis when I woke up. It's the only time it ever happened out of 70, maybe 80 times I've experienced this. Only this one time. So anyways, but with that being said, I awoke that night. I opened my eyes. And I was laying flat in my bed and I looked up, and I seen what looked like to be something standing in the dark over my bed, like an apparition, I guess, a spirit maybe. I don't know. Just to me, it looked like somebody was standing over me, and so I got a little bit like nervous, I guess, and I tried to wake myself up. I was like, I can move my eyes and everything. I can see. I can't speak or I can't move my body, but I can try to wake myself up. And as I tried to wake myself up, I could see this thing that was standing over the bed like this. I could see it, and it looked like it had something on its head. It was kind of like wasn't white like a ghost white. It was kind of it was like a different shade of gray in the darkness, where everything was dark around it, and this figure of what looked like a human was kind of like a light shade of gray kind of thing. I guess that's the best description I can think of without coloring a picture. But anyways, this thing moved as I tried to struggle to get out of my sleep paralysis. I seen this thing move away. It was leaning over me. It looked like it was leaning over me, and then it sort of backed away as I tried to wake up. So anyways, I struggled for maybe 30 seconds or a minute or something, and I snapped out of my sleep paralysis. And I woke up, and then as I did, I immediately kind of sat up on the bed, and the closet was at the doorway's over here. The doorway's over here, and the closet's there, and the bed is the edge of the bed. There's about 3.5 feet or 4 feet between the bed and the closet. And I sat up on the edge of the bed, and I looked into the dark. And as I'm fully awake now, I could still see this thing, this silhouette standing in the darkness. And it was pretty dark, except for the tiny bit of light that was coming through the window of like a street lamp or a parking lot lamp or something. It was almost pitch black, not quite. And I thought it was Darlene, so I said, "What are you doing here?" And I went to reach out for her like this. I stretched out and I went like that. And I went to touch her. And when I realized there was nothing there, I got super chilled. Chills stand up on me, chills on, and I got up and I turned the light on and I left the room, and I went out in the living room. And that was it for that. I didn't go back in the living room until I got ready for work that night. So I don't know exactly what was there. I don't know exactly. I can't really explain what I seen in the dark that night, but I always felt like there was something odd about that apartment. Anyways, that is like part one to the story. So I went to work that night, Joseph Howe Superstore. Everything seemed normal. Next day I went on. There's like a second part to the story. And the second part is that I'm kind of linking them together. Maybe who knows? Nobody will ever know if they do link together, or if they had anything to do with each other. But anyways, the second part of the story is a couple of days later. I went to work, and working on the night shift. We just clean the floors at night, right? Sweep, and we auto scrub, and we detail, and we high speed burnish the floors, or buff the floors, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that particular, this is about a night, maybe 2 nights. It wasn't the same night, but it was probably 2 nights later. I went to work and did my usual routine as I was doing with the partner I was with at the time, me and him. And so anyways, that particular night, they wanted me to scrub the back shop at the store, where all the pallets and the storage is all kept. It gets black after a while. It needs to be scrubbed. So I proceeded to go ahead and fill my scrubber. At the time, I was using this blue Encore scrubber. That's not important, but I like adding some details. My memory. So I was filling the scrubber at the sink, and it takes about, 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes to fill that large auto scrubber. And so I filled it up, and lo and behold, and you got to go in the loading bay. There's loading doors over here, and then you got to go around a bunch of pallets that were sort of parked on the floor. And you got to go around to the other side, over to the sink in the corner, which is over there. And then we had a little cage underneath the stairs where all our cleaning equipment was kept. So at the sink, I was filling the scrubber up sometime about 1 a.m. I don't know what time it was, 1 a.m., 1:30, 2 a.m. maybe, sometime during the night. Filled my scrubber up. I was standing beside my scrubber. And then I proceeded to take the scrubber, move the scrubber, and I moved it all the way around. And I come all the way around the other side of the pallets, and I went to put some black pads underneath the red pads that were on the machine, since that's how I scrub my floors. I don't bother switching pads. I just set the motors down on the pads. That's not important either. But anyways, so I put the black pads on the machine. I went around to the front of the machine. I proceeded to, I lowered down the motors. And I proceeded to start to scrub and I was just getting ready to turn the scrubber on, just get it going. And then I was this is only to go around those pallets. It was only about a minute, maybe 2 minutes later, 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Then I heard this loud crash. I'm like, what the hell was that? Just boom, crash, and smash, and glass all over. The sound of glass breaking. So I went, I said, what the heck was that? I walked around the palace to find that about a roughly 14, maybe-ish, 12, 14, 15 foot stack of pallets had fallen over and landed and crashed right in the whole area where I was filling the scrubber up, literally 2 to 3 minutes later. And I mean, it was a whole bunch of partial pallets stacked on top of each other. There was, the biggest thing in there was a bunch of coffee, jarred in jars, instant coffee. There was a mess of coffee all over the floors, glass everywhere, and the screen likes to go to sleep. Wake up! You can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. You wake up, you. Anyways, so there was I was freaked out. I was like, what the hell? I was just standing there 2 minutes earlier, filling my scrubber, and this stack of pallets went over and landed in the area right where the sink is and the whole open area. As it turns out, the people that worked on the night crew or the day crew at the superstore miscalculated, misjudged the pallets they were stacking for storage. What somebody did was, on the bottom, somebody had put a partial pallet of spring water. And of course, not being a full pallet, the spring water could only take so much weight as they stacked it up. And of course, the spring water decided to buckle at one point. The plastic jugs buckled. The whole thing came down. I went out and I told the night crew manager. I was, a little bit shaky and freaked out. Just, holy crap, that was close. He told me not to be so melodramatic. Anyways, that was kind of the second part of that story. Now, I don't know if it was linked to the thing that the figure that visited me in the dark a night or two before, probably 2 nights before. I'm thinking this was 2 nights later. Anyway, I told that story to some people. Not a lot of people know about that. Dar knows about it, and a couple other people. But one person, the guy that I was working with that night had suggested when I told him all about that story. He made a light suggestion, thinking that maybe it was a guardian angel coming to visit me in the dark that night. I don't know. Can't say. I don't know for sure. All I can say is that's the only time that in my life now that I've ever seen anything odd that resembles maybe an apparition or a spirit or something in the dark that just looked unusual, didn't quite look normal. And I figure it was probably I felt like it was probably a female apparition, if it was an apparition, just because I don't know, there was something weird looking on its head, like a weird looking cap. I don't know what it was. Anyways, I never went back in the room to see if it was still there, so I don't know. Yeah. So that's very, very strange. I just wanted to kind of share that story with some people, and whoever wants to sit through this video and basically, yeah, I suppose if she ever comes to visit me again, I suppose maybe I might take that as a warning. I don't know. Maybe something is going to happen. I don't. But one more thing one more odd thing to throw at you here in this video before I end this. Very ironic thing that happened here today. Today is November the 5th, Saturday, November 5th, 2022. It's just after 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And I was contemplating uploading this story a week ago or a week ago. And I said, okay, Friday night, last night, I forgot about it. Today, I better get it uploaded. Let's do it. So lo and behold, I'm going through my CDs, and I've got probably 400 or 500 CDs, store bought, and burnt CDs or whatever, just all my CDs in general. So I'm going through the CDs and I'm thinking about just importing some more music or whatever into the computer. So lo and behold, I pull out this thing. I don't know, it's something that was received a long time ago, a little over 20 years ago. It was like a freebie, a Pepsi, free disc or whatever. It was a promotional thing that we had gotten years ago. And I pull it out of its sleeve to find that there's an address on out of like 500-ish CDs. I pull this out today, and the address on the disc, I mean, that address belongs to somebody else now, but I don't think it's going to focus. Anyways, the address on the disc is the same address. Well, I guess you don't need to see the address. It's the same address where I had that experience 22 years ago. 275 Windmill Road, apartment 126. How about that for a strange coincidence? Anyways, I guess that's about it. That's all I've really got to say about this story. All right. And if anybody wants to comment below, I'll be interested in hearing your comments. And I guess I'll catch you later. I'll catch you in the next one, I guess. I'll get you in the next beer review or not. Said no one ever, right? Or said two people maybe. All right. Cheers and have a good day.